I have got 12 clones of Creed fragrances here. I think I've got around 10 Creed fragrances, and I've got more than one clone of a couple of them. So stay tuned for this video, but let me know down in the comments what are your favorite dupes of Creed fragrances. Also, remember to subscribe and give a click to the like button if you like the video. We're going to begin. But before we do, let me just say this. I remember the first time I smelled a Creed fragrance. It was actually Aventus. It was when it came out. I don't know if this was everywhere, but I know in Kansas City, Missouri, where I was living at the time, there were people literally in the streets handing out little, like probably half-mil sprays. And I got 2 of those just randomly. Someone handed it to me. I thought whatever, took it home, forgot about it. A couple weeks later, I pulled it out and started to wear it, because I've loved fragrances for years. I've been wearing some sort of a fragrance probably since I was, 9 years old. But whenever I sprayed Aventus for the first time, it was an experience. I literally remember the first time that I ever wore it, how unique it was. I didn't know anything about niche perfumery. Whenever I went back and tried to buy a bottle a few months later, I was mind blown at $350 for a bottle of fragrance. But at that time, I didn't really know about dupes either. At that time, there was a few brands. They even used to do commercials on TV. There was one called Imposters. There was another one in the late 80s, early 90s. And if you got a clone that was like 70%, 75% close to what you were trying to emulate, then you would be happy with that. Clone fragrances nowadays are insane, especially compared to even 20 years ago. So this is a list of really good dupes. I'm going to try to move through it quickly, but again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. All right, we're going to start out with Creed Aventus for obvious reasons. This is my #1 recommendation for a cheap dupe of Creed Aventus. I mean ultra cheap. This is Alharamain's L'Aventure. Alharamain is a good brand. They're known for strong fragrances, quality fragrances. And this one right here, you can usually get for less than $20. It definitely, or around 20, maybe low 20s to high teens. And this one is definitely geared more towards fruity Aventus than smoky Aventus. It's got great performance. They even have an Intense now for about $5 more that's supposed to be even stronger. But great pickup and a great starting place if you want a cheapie. You will not see Armaf Club de Nuit Intense Man in this video. There's a line of those that are dupes of Aventus with varying degrees of quality and variants from actual Aventus. I got the EDT. I didn't like it. I ended up getting rid of it, and I never got the EDP, the Parfum, etc. And I've got now way more Aventus dupes than I need and way more than I have in this video. My next recommendation, another one that's very inexpensive, I think less than $30, and this stuff is incredible, great quality, great performance. This is Dumont Nitro Black. And it's pretty much just straight Aventus. It's like right in the middle. It's not super smoky, not super sweety. It's not super smoky, not super fruity. It's Dumont Nitro Black. This one is right down the middle Aventus. It's not super fruity. It's not super smoky. It's just a very balanced Creed Aventus dupe. There's a muskiness, but it's not too strong as there is in Aventus. It's just a great pickup. And again, for less than $30, this is one that you might want to check out. All right, next, this one's a little more pricey. I think you're going to see this in around the $50 range, but it is notably of higher quality than the other 2 that I showed you. This is Barouge Spiritus. And Barouge fragrances are kind of known to be high-end dupes, and there is a reason that they are known for that. They are pretty much all nuclear powerful. They are just legitimately high quality. You're not going to find any kind of sort of funkiness or overly synthetic cheap smell. This one is really good. To my nose, it's got just a touch of like a Nishane Hasavat vibe rather than smokiness. There's almost like a patchouli vibe that I get from this one. Nevertheless, I would say like 90% Aventus, 10% Hasavat. Great pickup, Barouge Spiritus. All right, rather than filling the whole video with Aventus dupes, I'm going to move on to another fragrance. We'll go next to Green Irish Tweed. A lot of people have said for years that Davidoff Cool Water is a dupe or at least an alternative to Green Irish Tweed, but this one is definitely closer, and I have really fallen in love with this fragrance this past year. This is Armaf Très Nuit. And of course, it's been out for a long time. It's very inexpensive, you know, $20 to $25, even on Amazon Prime. And it's excellent. I love the way that Armaf mimics the sort of ambergris note from Creed fragrances. They do that here. You've got the lemon verbena. You've got that sort of soft green sweetness. You've got an orris note in this one. It's really excellent. It's not boring, which is why I sort of left it on the shelf for a very long time. It's actually quite interesting. Great fragrance for all year round. Très Nuit by Armaf. All right, let's go next to Silver Mountain Water. Of course, Silver Mountain Water is a tea fragrance, but there's also some florals, and there's also just a touch of aromatic or spiciness. And I've got two dupes here to show you, which actually are a little bit different. This one is a sub-brand of Dumont. This is Vanessa Absolute Exciting. And this one is a pretty thick dupe of Silver Mountain Water. It's got a little more density than the other one that I'm going to show you. It's pretty close to Silver Mountain Water. They actually both are, but I would say this one out of the two is a little bit denser, not longer lasting, but just thicker, if that makes sense. And so this one, again, hasn't been talked about much, but it's actually a pretty good alternative to Silver Mountain Water. And the next one that I'll mention is the one that you were probably expecting if you've been around clone fragrances for a while. And that's this one right here, Armaf's Club de Nuit Sillage. This one, my bottle is nuclear performing. It's a 14 to 24 hour fragrance. I did a video about this one a couple years ago where I talked about how it lasted in my closet for days and days. And this is a strong room-filling fragrance that I actually go nose blind to personally. 4 or 5 sprays of this, and for 12 hours easy, you're going to have a nice scent cloud of Silver Mountain Water around you. This one is a little bit lighter than the last one that I showed you. It is also just a touch of a Middle Eastern vibe, almost something like incense in this one. So anyway, excellent pickup. I don't think you could go wrong with either of them. And these Club de Nuit fragrances were some of the groundbreaking dupes a few years back that really caught people's attention to begin thinking, wow, maybe these Middle Eastern fragrances are a legitimate alternative to these much more expensive niche fragrances. Another one of those Club de Nuit fragrances, this one is an alternative to Creed's Millésime Imperial. This is, of course, Armaf Club de Nuit Milestone. This fragrance is gorgeous. You talk about one that does a great job of mimicking the Creed ambergris. This one definitely does. It's probably ambroxan or, amber max or some sort of synthetic amber note. But there's something in Creed fragrances that is distinct that makes you say, wow, that's a Creed fragrance. None of these are going to be a one-to-one with Creed, but they do a great job with this one. This is a fruity, sweet fragrance that actually works great in the summer, in the spring, but it's actually got enough weight to wear all year round. There's a little bit of to me, kind of a melon vibe as far as what I actually get from it. And again, if you want a sweet, fruity fragrance that's not overpowering and not cloying even in the summer, this one is excellent. And I have vacation memories with this one every time I wear it. It gives you that sort of summer fun kind of a vibe. All right, another one that I would say gives me that real summer vibe would be Creed Aventus Cologne. And this one is a very good, inexpensive dupe of Creed Aventus Cologne. This is Rayon Tradition Insurrection 2 Sport. And this one is, it's a more citrus-focused, lighter take on Aventus. So you've still got some citrus, you've got some woods, you've got some freshness, but you don't have the same sort of weight and density that you do with regular Creed Aventus. And they did a really good job of giving you the same vibe, the same kind of a feel. This one is one of those kind of invigorating, kind of happy fragrances that'll really put you in a good mood in the summer. Again, Insurrection 2 Sport by Rayon Tradition. All right, since we just talked about an Aventus flanker dupe, let's talk about this one. This is actually one of my favorite pickups of the past year, and I'm talking whether clones or designer or niche. This one's an alternative to Creed's Aventus Absolu. I'm talking about Armaf Club de Nuit Précieux. And so this one right here is a bit of a twist on Précieux in that in the opening there is this kind of caramel sweetness and pear, a sweet kind of juicy fruity pear, as well as that gourmand sweetness that really changes the vibe of this fragrance. I actually prefer this to just regular Aventus Absolu DNA. The sweetness just really does something. My wife loves this fragrance. My kids love this fragrance. I love this fragrance. I've only had it for, I don't know, 3-4 months, and I put my flashlight up to it the other day. It's already down to here, which is very unusual for me because I have a lot of fragrances, and I don't stick with a fragrance that much, that long, but this one I could just about wear every day. The prices come down significantly. You can get it around $50 now, and I think it's worth every penny. Extrait de Parfum, it's nuclear powerful, 12+ hour performer, and it is excellent. Only 2 ounces in this bottle, so be warned, but I actually do think it's worth it. All right, this one is a dupe of a Creed fragrance that I don't think I've ever smelled. Maybe I have out in a department store, but I don't know. But I know that Creed's original Santal has been compared to Dupe. It's been compared to this fragrance right here, which, funny enough, this fragrance came out first, and many believe that Creed were sort of cloning or definitely inspired by Mont Blanc Individuel whenever they made their original Santal. This is basically raspberry fabric softener, and it's got a similar kind of raspberry sweet fruitiness that Dupe has, but definitely more freshness. It's definitely lighter, and as you can see by how much I've worn this, I've had this a couple years and I haven't worn it much. I don't love it. It's not that it smells bad. It actually smells great as far as it literally smells like clean laundry. And who doesn't like that smell? But it's not as interesting to me as many of my other fragrances, so I haven't worn it much. But if you want something that smells like fabric softener with raspberry, then check this one out, Mont Blanc Individuel. It's a very inexpensive alternative to original Santal. All right, next, I'm going to show you a couple dupes from generic perfumes. I could actually grab a couple other Creed dupes. They've done an Absolu Aventus dupe that's actually really good and closer to the Creed than the Armaf that I just showed you, Précieux. But this is actually their version of Spice and Wood, a very expensive Creed fragrance. This is their A++ Spice and Wood. And this one is, to me, it is not too dissimilar from Infinite Spicy by Mercedes. I think that's still on the top shelf back there. And Infinite Spicy is not too dissimilar from Man in Black. If you've ever smelled the Bulgari fragrance that a lot of people say is not too dissimilar from Spice Bomb. So I'm kind of Chinese telephoning it, you know, several fragrances forward. But it's a textured woodiness with some citrus and some spiciness. You could pretty much say the same thing of Spice Bomb, although this does not smell like Spice Bomb, but they're in a similar category. It is an oriental, woody, sweet, spicy fragrance, and I actually really like it. It's really good stuff. I've only had this one for a month or so, so I haven't worn it that much, but it's really good stuff. I will put a discount code for generic perfumes in the description. You'll save a good chunk of money or get free shipping. I don't make a commission on that, but I am going to put it there for you if you want to use it. And another one, this is actually number 12. This one is Generic Perfumes' version of Royal Oud, which is not what you may think when you hear the name. So this is their version of Royal Oud. Armaf, several years back, 3, 4, 5 years back, they did one of their Derby fragrances. It's a white and green bottle, I believe. That's actually also an alternative to this fragrance, but something I can say about this one, this is just their regular, this is not A+ or A++, but their fragrances just have significant quality, and this is, it is a fragrance with oud, but it's more sort of fresh oud, almost like, you know, Tom Ford Oud Wood, sort of a cleaner kind of an oud, but there's a strong green facet in this one. It is a fresh green oud fragrance, as weird as that sounds. It's actually really good. I think it's really perfect for spring. I didn't have it in the spring at all, so I didn't get to try it then, but this would be a great green, unique, fresh spring fragrance to wear, their version of Royal Oud. And so that's been 12, but let me know your picks for Creed dupes, or let me know if you've tried any of these and what do you think. I am Justin. This is Sillage Scents. Remember to subscribe. I've got videos coming out every couple days, and give the video a like if you got something out of it. I'll see you on the next one.